Addis Ababa, and it's New Year. Only here the calendar says 2018. Ethiopia runs on its own time, so we're ringing in 2018 tonight. Every party starts with food. Injera, Letos, Shiro, so good. They're showing.
Welcome to the Ethiopian calendar. 13 months of sunshine, 12 months of 30 days each, plus a tiny extra one called Pagumē with 5 or 6 days. While the world counts.
So Ethiopia is just casually 8 years behind everybody else. But they use a whole different calendar in Ethiopia, which makes me wonder, is their calendar right? Is that the calendar that everybody should be using? Their calendar has 13 months, not 12, and their New Year's is in September. Something ain't right. Somebody gotta tell me something. Hell nah, something ain't.
It's a new year and marks the first day of 2018 in Ethiopia. Why are the Ethiopians in 2018 and most part of the words are in 2025? Now, the Ethiopians don't follow the main calendar, which is the Gregorian system calendar, like many parts of the world do. The Ethiopians have their own calendar that is called the Ethiopian calendar. The Ethiopian calendar is a solar calendar that tracks the cycle of the sun. In the Ethiopian calendar, a year has 13 months, with 12 months having 30 days and 1 month having 5 or 6 days in a leap year called Pagumē or Pagumē. It is good to know that the Ethiopian calendar was not the real African calendar. The Ethiopian calendar was evolved from a calendar in Egypt called the Coptic or the Alexandria calendar. From there and during the time of Anomundi era, this calendar has been shaped by the cultural and the religious belief of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Some of these cultural things that have been used to shape this calendar include the Ge'ez language, which was an ancient language in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. According to the Ethiopian calendar, an year begins in the 11th or 12th September of the Gregorian system calendar. One of the key figures who have helped a lot to shape this calendar is a guy by the name of Panodoros, who was a monk in Alexandria, Egypt. According to the calculation of Panodoros, he believed that the earth was created on 29th August of 5493 BC. Now, from his calculation, and even during the Anomundi era, led to the Ethiopian belief that Yeshua was born during the 7th BC. Now, the structure of this calendar of having 12 months with 30 days and a 13th month was adopted from the Coptic calendar, a calendar that was used in ancient Egypt. Now, when it comes to the Coptic calendar, this was not the original ancient calendar in Egypt. This calendar evolved from the ancient Egyptian solar calendar. The Coptic calendar is also called the Alexandrian calendar because its reform and adoption were centered in Alexandria, Egypt. In 25 BC, Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar reformed the ancient Egyptian solar calendar in Alexandria in order to align with the Julian calendar, and that is where the Coptic calendar came from. The ancient solar calendars in Egypt didn't have leap years. Now, in order to distinguish this Coptic calendar from the ancient solar calendars, scholars started calling this calendar the Alexandrian calendar. Remember, during the time of Cleopatra VII, Augustus Caesar defeated Egypt, but never ruled Egypt from within. Now he made Egypt like a province of the Roman Empire. Unlike Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar ruled Egypt from Rome. Before the Coptic calendar, ancient Egypt around 3000 BC, by that time it was called Kemet, they used both the solar calendars and the lunar calendars.
I finished the book of Adam and Eve, aka the conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan, and if you never heard of it, it's a 6th century non-canonical text that explains what happened to Adam and Eve after they were kicked out of the garden. It fills in a lot of gaps. For example, it goes into detail about what Adam and Eve lost when they were kicked out of the garden. They talk about how before they were kicked out of the garden, they could see the angels and they could hear their music, but once they're kicked out, they can no longer see or hear those things. And God explains to them that they no longer have spiritual sight. They only have sight of the flesh. And also, they have to drink water to sustain their bodies, whereas before, they didn't have to drink water, and so they find it to be a strange, new, and inconvenient type of thing that they have to do. And then another thing that Adam was worried about is that once they were kicked out of the garden and they no longer had the previous grace of God, that they would be devoured by wild animals. So God kind of calls all the animals together and makes them pledge allegiance to Adam and basically agree that they won't devour him. But Strangely, the serpent wouldn't come. God is all powerful, but he couldn't get the serpent to come and agree to not try and harm Adam and Eve. In the canonical story of Adam and Eve, the serpent tricks Adam and Eve one time, but in the book of Adam and Eve, the serpent is specifically identified as the devil, Satan, and he tricks them again and again and again. In each chapter, he comes disguised. He's usually disguised as an angel of the Lord, and Adam and Eve fall for it every time. And his main objective is to get them to transgress God's laws so they'll be in trouble with God. And the reason he's doing this is because he has a vendetta. Even though he's the one who got them kicked out of the garden, he feels like they're the ones responsible for his heavenly demotion. They're the reason that he was stripped of his divine light. And it plays out the same again and again, chapter after chapter. The devil tricks them. God gives the devil a slap on the wrist. They ask for forgiveness, and he promises that if they stay true and follow his laws, that after 5,500 years, them and their descendants will be restored to the Garden of Eden. Fast forward, Eve gives birth to twins, a son named Cain and a daughter named Lelua, and Lelua was considered more beautiful than Eve herself. Then later down the road, she gives birth to twins again, a son named Abel and a daughter named Aklima. And Adam and Eve wanted Cain to marry Aklima, and they wanted Abel to marry Lelua, and the devil uses this information to manipulate Cain. He gets in his ear and he's like, yo dog, they want you to marry the ugly sister. I'd do something if I were you. That's pretty much what he tells him. And so Abel gets killed by Cain just because Cain wanted to marry the better looking sister. And it's like, what type of redneck fantasy shit is this? And that's pretty much a summary of the first book of Adam and Eve. And I'll be coming back with another video about the second book when I finish that.
So tell me why the CIA banned this book for decades and now it's low-key coming true. This is the Adam and Eve story by Chan Thomas, and it was written in the 1960s and then swiftly classified by the CIA. But then in 2013, a Freedom of Information Act made it public. Well, almost all of it. The CIA released a sanitized portion of the Adam and Eve story. This is what we know from that sanitized version. Every 6,500 years, Chan said that the Earth would go through a total reset. And I'm not talking about like a climate change, slow change kind of vibe. I'm talking about rapid reset. Poles shifting, Earth's crust ripping off like an orange peel, 1,000-foot tsunamis coming in. And guess what? Earth's magnetic pole is drifting faster than ever and our magnetic field is weakening. Scientists are watching it very closely. And said it starts with earthquakes, volcanoes, and weird weather. Does that sound familiar at all? Because the last 6 months have been wild. Along with all the crazy ass weather that we've had the past 6 months, we had the 8.8 earthquake in Russia. And then today in Russia, a volcano that hasn't erupted in over 600 years popped off. Iceland's on its 6th eruption of the year. Volcanoes are going crazy all over Japan, Indonesia. The Ring of Fire, just look it up right now. It's terrifying. Chan Thomas goes into great detail of what will happen to the Earth when the crust slips like an orange peel, resetting everything. And we can get into that more if you want to. But my whole thing is, we're overdue if this happens every 6,500 years. And the last time was when Atlantis sunk. Why did the CIA keep this book hidden for decades if there's not any truth to it? I think they knew something, Chan knew something, and he wasn't the only one that predicted this.
Yeah, man. Vibes high this morning. Life is a rhythm. You feel it in the heartbeat like the drum. Rastafari speak of love, unity, respect. Sun on my face, breeze in the trees, I give thanks. Keep your heart light, your light, your light, your light, your light.